So we are going to try something very different today for Retro Alcove. So I am showcasing a little bit of the new system that came out, the Polymega, and it has the ability to play about 15-ish years worth of retro video games. Um, so this is kind of my Polymega review. I'm just getting to one of my favorite games of all time for the Super Nintendo, and I'm playing on the Polymega with the Super Nintendo controller. And let me get into the screen a little bit here and tell you guys a little bit more about the Polymega. So, kind of what you see here is what you get. So, since I have all the modules that exist for the Polymega, you are able to import actual games across multiple cartridges in this, such as PlayStation, NES, Super Nintendo, all different versions and regions of it. 64 is a module add-on. Genesis, so you're able to play the Sega CD, the Mega CD. Sega 32X plays just fine. Sega Saturn, all with different regions. Neo Geo CD, different regions. TurboGrafx, so it has a Hue card and also has the TurboGrafx as well. Like one kind of gripe with this system is that it's not fully supported with every piece of the library that exists, especially for the NES. There is probably, I'd say, 70 to 90 games that are not currently supported. So it's about 90% support rate for that. So it doesn't play the Color Dream stuff, doesn't play the Wisdom Tree stuff, doesn't play the Tengen stuff, doesn't play the Aladdin stuff on the NES. So if it's not an officially licensed NES game, it will not play it. What's really cool, and I'll show you this, is I took every game that I have for these old systems and imported them in. Now, once again, it has to be real cartridges, has to be real CDs, and so like your EverDrives will not work on it as the time of this recording is concerned. But you can see right here that I have 534 NES games that are imported, and what you do is you put the cartridge into the slot and then you can rip it into a hard drive, so you don't have to have your collection out at all times. I have a lot of games and it takes up a lot of space, but I'm able to essentially copy them and then emulate them on the system and be able to play them whenever I feel like. And all these systems all in one, all in HDMI. And what's really nice is I'll show you on the system and the game I'm playing today is, you know, I have 230 Super Nintendo games, is that you are able to do save states with it. So something you can only generally do in emulation or EverDrives, you are able to do. So you can, like I said, I'll get into let's see here. The game I want to get into is, where are you? Thunder Spirits for the Super Nintendo. When you start it, you can play a new game. You can play the classic mode, which has save states and other enhancements disabled. You can apply cheat codes, so like Game Genie and other codes that exist, or there's patches that exist on video games, especially for the older stuff that was never released in the United States or other regions, that you can get an English patch file. And the way you used to have to do this was you had to inject, it was an IPS file, you'd have to inject that into the ROM and then be able to burn it to a cartridge, play it in an emulator or an EverDrive or anything like that to have the English translation. What you can do is put the IPS file onto a thumb drive and then patch it. So I have Final Fantasy V for the Super Famicom, which was not released in America. You can get the English patch file and then patch it and then play it on the system. But I want to show you what Thunder Spirits is. We have not done Thunder Spirits on Retro Alcove before, and it is probably my favorite shooters that exist for Super Nintendo, just because it was one of the few games that my friends had growing up. So let's get into this. I'm going to suck at this because I haven't played this in a very long time. Yep. Push A to shoot, and you get different weapons, just like any other, like Super R-Type or anything else like that. And you get different weapons, and you can select them. When you die, you kind of lose them. I think this game is fantastic just because of the soundtrack. I think is really good. I think it's just really fun. And you see I lost my weapon. So what's really cool is there is a start button on here. You can go, hey, you know what? I'm gonna save the state. Create new. Boom. Now I have a save state. So I go, let's load a state. I'd be able to go there. So I think this is a fantastic system. You know, there are ways to get this going. Like I said, if supported EverDrive, that would be better in my opinion, but you know, they do that for licensing purposes, so they can say, hey, you have to have actual cartridges. You know, granted, it's been about 40 years since some of these games came out, and you should be able to go, you know what, Nintendo or whoever the company is isn't getting their money anymore, so who cares, right? But you know, it's always a point of contention with Nintendo recently taking the sites down for emulation because people are doing it for systems that currently exist, and you shouldn't do that. But like I said, old Super Nintendo games, doesn't really matter. I don't think so. So, as you can see, I am not doing good at this game. But I said, you know, this is a great system. You know, not a sponsor. I'll give my final thoughts on this when it is done. So, let's say that, going for the final boss. Usually, I've always been able to kind of get to the third level if I've been playing this long enough, but it's been a very long time since I played this. And what's nice is the modules have different ways of getting into the system. So you plug a cartridge in, you get different modules for different cartridge-based systems. CD-based is all the same, and they come with their own controllers that have that handy-dandy start button that is on there that lets you get into more of the stuff of the game. So this is, in my opinion, an underrated gem for the Super Nintendo. Like I said, I used to play it all the time growing up. But this is a hard game. I have no doubts about that. And I will put a link in the video for anyone that wants a link to this and have any questions about this system. So I will put the link to the store, even though they're not a sponsor. And just to, so everyone kind of see what is going on with this system as a whole. So I'm not going to do so good here, but been a good 15 years since I picked up this game. So obviously I did poor at that game, but let's just go on and pick another game just to everyone to see kind of what it looks like. You know, let's. What do I have in PAL? I have Terranigma. Let's do Terranigma. Oh, that's an RPG. I lied. Let's do. What do I want to do? In honor of spoiler alert for the trailer for X-Men 97, we will do Captain America just for a little bit here. And the Avengers. Classic arcade game, came out, as you see, in 1993.
The Avengers!
White Vision, Hawkeye, Captain America, Iron Man. Let's see here. Red Skull seeks to conquer the world with Team Supervillains. Yep. Blah, 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 blah.
America still needs your help!
Oh, I used to play this at the arcade all the time.
Okay, go!
Go! I'll handle this.
No!
Come on, Vision. Just pick up random crap on the ground and I'm just gonna throw it at people. That makes sense. Vision, come on. Loki and Iron. The Claw. Classic. No. Andy Serkis' character in Black Panther. Wow. Wow. This game was much better on the arcade, but still a pretty decent port from, you know, to the Super Nintendo. Quicksilver, thanks, Quicksilver. Ooh. guys are, I don't remember his name. If you don't know them, uh, you never know. He turns into a tornado essentially. If you know who that is, let me know in the comments below. Alright, let's go ahead and pick Hawkeye. They don't need the yellow time they're hit, in my opinion, but you know. Avengers. So like I said, if I want to go, you know what? I think they did a great enough job. I'm going to save state it. That's it. So, I mean, you can add to favorites, you can do deletions. What's really nice is, like I said, it's all there. And it comes with pre-built games that came with it, some turbo stuff. But yeah, that's, you know, I do have, as you can see, storage. I have a 2 terabyte SSD that is in there, so that's pretty cool. So you can go in there and kind of see what is all in there. Yeah, that is pretty much it for this Retro Alcove. I want to make a short one and just talk about the Polymega. And kind of my overall thoughts is, if you're someone that has a large collection of video games that comes in physical media and cartridges, it's just way to rip it and not have everything out. Like I said, this replaces multiple systems, so you have one system to play all the retro stuff. There is new support coming out. They said this year for maybe the 3DO, the CDI, or even the Dreamcast, which is a big ask of this. And what's nice is, yeah, they're wired controllers. They are nice, and they do have everything nice there. You can use your original controllers, you can use your save packs from stuff like that, and there are ways to rip games with your data already on there as well. Overall, it's a pretty hefty price tag to come with this, but you think about it this way, you know, the base game is about $400. Each module is about $80, but if you buy the deluxe bundle, you kind of get, you know, 4 systems in one. They're physical cartridges. The Nintendo 64 is a separate one. So there's 5 modules plus all the CDs and continued support. So if you really think about it, you know, the analog systems that do exist are about $200 to $300 each. And yeah, they're nice to be able to play games that are on there, able to play EverDrive and stuff like that. So if you have a big collection of retro games, this system is really for you. Like I said, once again, not a sponsor. And let us know if you're interested in this, if you have one, if you have any questions for me, if you want me to see test anything for the system in future videos, let me know. But this is just a really neat way of playing the old hardware and the old games with save states, as you saw me struggling with like Lord of the Rings, where there weren't save states on the actual cartridges. So there's just a way for me to be able to save state, play games further down the line, and just make for better stuff for Retro Alcove. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time on the Retro Alcove. Bye.